Today we're continuing our work on back defense. If you were here Monday, it's basically a review of that same class. We're going to be going safe haven, falling towards the control side arm. We're going to talk about how we clear our hips, and then we're going to talk about putting in our frame so that we can come into our rubber guard immediately out of that escape when our opponent tries to take top position on us. And if we have time, I'd maybe throw in a little bit of go-go clinch because we don't have a whole lot of rubber guard in the curriculum for fundamentals, and that way you guys can all see a pretty cool finishing option from the rubber guard. So, any questions before we get started? All right. Roman, can I borrow you? So Roman's on my back, right? He's here. He's got both hooks in. He's got his seatbelt in. Now, which arm is Roman's control arm? Left arm, right? I want two hands on the choking side arm, right? Number one thing, Wu-Tang said it in 97, protect your neck, right? That's the number one rule here. Everything else is secondary. As soon as I start worrying about his legs or anything else, and I forget to protect my neck, it's all over. So number one, two arms on the choking arm. Number two, if my left elbow is high, he can very easily switch his choking arm. Maybe I pry this out. Uh-oh, choking arm switched. So two arms on the choking arm, but I want to clamp and trap that control arm. When we start in EBI overtime, he's starting on my back. He gets his grip here. The ref is going to ask me if I have what I need. I'm going to say, yep, and then we're going to go. Now, he may take me to either side. Today, I'm going to try to take myself towards the control side arm. That means to the left. And what I want to do here is bring my head opposite to the opposite side of his head. So two arms on the choking arm, trapping the control side arm. I'm falling here, and I would love to get my head to the mat. Now try to strangle me. Real hard for him to strangle me. Sorry. When his head is on the same side as the choking arm. Here, even with just one hand, he can strangle me pretty quickly. So my number one goal is control the choking arm so that he can't strangle me, and then get my head to the mat on the other side of his head. Here, boom, my head is to the floor. Now I'm relatively safe. But now I got to deal with these legs. I want to get my hips facing the ceiling, and he's doing some hamstring curls here. He's hanging on me tight. It can be hard. I certainly can't go this way. Things are very hard because he's using his hooks to keep me trapped. I'm going to shoot my left leg back behind me, boom, and then try to step so that my hips are now facing the ceiling. Now I can begin to do what we call crawl through the ring of fire. Like his arms are a loop in the circus, and I'm going to start to shoulder walk here, and I'm starting to come out. He realizes that he's losing the position, so he's going to try to salvage the top because there's no strangle here. I'm over his arm. Strangle me. Right? It's nothing. So he wants to come up on top to salvage that position. Come on up. And we're going to go right to New Jersey. I'll talk about that here in a minute. That's not my concern right now. So right now, one guy's on my back. What's number one? Wu-Tang. Protect your neck. Two on the choking arm. And what he wants to do, he wants to try to trick me by putting his left hand on top of his right hand. This is a great way to grip. Because if I just grab here, I take that down and the strangle arm comes in. So for the guy on the back, he doesn't want to be here. He would like to lock like this so that it's harder for me to get my two arms on the strangle arm or the choking arm. Does that make sense? Right? So I got two arms in. What am I doing wrong? Elbow clamp. What's my next step? Head to the mat. Boom, here. What's next? Clear the leg. Boom. And then I start to shoulder walk. And we'll talk about the rest of it here in a minute. That's number one. Guy on the back, right? We're over the top. We've got that seatbelt. I've got my hooks in. I got my head opposite the choking arm. I'm not trying to give him full resistance here. I'm trying to let him work as we start to get the hang of things, getting our head to the mat, maintaining that 2-on-1, shooting our hips free so that they can face the ceiling, and beginning to shoulder walk backwards out of that. Then we'll start to have that top person add a little bit of resistance, so you can start to see that even though I'm controlling that arm, he's still on my back. I'm still in a real bad position, right? This is what we call a dead zone. When he's on my back, all things considered, typically he's going to finish, right? If we're on somebody's back, we're certainly going to finish, okay? So understanding that the back and spider web are considered dead zones, that's why they're used in overtime. We want to get into the mentality. When we're on the back, we finish every time, but we also want to know if somebody's on our back, we're going to have some escapes ready for them all locked up in the chamber. Sound good? Questions on what we're doing? 2 hands on the choking arm, clamp with the underhook, head to the mat, clear my hips so they face the ceiling, shoulder walk out over that arm. Questions? Let's run it. 1, 2.